And
Ah,
we're live.
ah,
Welcome. Welcome. Yeah, we were going to start. So we're here. Both Simo and I are here this week. I don't know where to start. I'm so excited.
I love that. We are not AI.
We're not the guy because AI
I
would
think
have
it's
done
really,
this right.
pretty clear now. Ah,
So Simo and I are back this week. It's not just me. And we decided we were going to start with a guided visualization, partly because it lets people collect in while we're getting started, but also it just gives us a nice grounding, a nice way to start our session. So for those of you who are listening or and here, or if you're following along at home after and watching the recording, I invite you to get comfortable, take a slow, deep breath, and close your eyes. Picture in your mind's eye a small and delicate flower floating gently inside your skull, just behind the bone of your forehead. Notice the flower's color, its shape, the pattern of its petals. Let the flower drift slowly downwards, gliding gently down your throat into your rib cage, drifting down and down between your lungs, downward, gently downward. Coming to rest in the lowest place in your abdomen. The place where your breath reaches when you breathe fully and deeply. A quiet touch of color deep in the darkness of your abdomen. Hold the flower there. Hold it. Hold it. Hold it. Now let it go. Let the flower vanish. But stay focused on the darkness, deep in the dark center of you. Now, when you're ready, and only when you're ready, open your eyes and come back to our virtual room. Okay, that's better. Oh, hello, Ruth. Nice to see you here. And nice to see Simo here this week. So we are ready to start season 2, although this is episode 2 of season 2. And we decided that today's 5 minutes before we started, we decided we would talk about what are we actually afraid of in regards to AI. This is something that actually came up in a meeting that I was in yesterday. Um, and so, yeah, it, yeah, what are we actually afraid of? Simo, what are you afraid of with respect to AI?
The first thing that comes to my mind is that there are so many possibilities how to use the AI that I'm behind. There's this urgency. I should learn how to use it in a right way, and I'm kind of envious about the people who actually find, they are reporting how AI is doing this and that, and they have built agents that
Right.
are kind of the little helpers in their work life and in domestic life, and
Right. So,
so it's like the endless possibilities, and kind of the feeling of like, I'm slowly adopting. That's the first thing.
yeah. So kind of a fear of missing out then? Everybody else is doing it and I'm not.
Yeah, missing out, maybe. Yeah, FOMO. Yeah.
FOMO. Yeah.
I'm usually an early adopter. I like new gadgets.
Yeah.
So this is natural to me, but
Yeah.
there are other. I can imagine that people have also really different kinds of fears than that.
Yeah.
This. What do you have in the top of your mind? On the top of your mind?
I have some of that FOMO, but it's for me is I'm more concerned about what it's doing to us as human beings and our relationships. This topic of, or this idea of relational versus transactional has been a bit of a theme for me for the last year and a half, or maybe a bit more, but let's say a year and a half. And so that's what concerns me, that we're turning to AI instead of turning to our colleagues and asking them questions, or turning to our friends for help and support. We're turning to AI, which just in large part is an echo chamber. It's very positive in its responses, right? It doesn't ever tell you no. Whereas human beings will say no, or tell me more, can you explain, this is, and hopefully in some situations we'll say, no, that's a really bad idea, I'm concerned for your safety and well-being, don't do that, or think more about that before you move forward. So yeah, it's those relational things that concern me. Yeah. What about, I wonder what some of our audience thinks. If you have thoughts, share them. We'll share them with the other viewers, and Simo and I'll talk about them. So we invite you, as always, to participate in the chat. Yeah.
It's interesting. Also, AI doesn't compete with you. There's no competition. I mean, it doesn't it doesn't try to outsmart you or steal your ideas.
True.
Human colleagues might want to do that.
Depends on your settings, though, because it takes what you give it, right? If you have a free version of a lot of these, you upload your ideas, your thoughts, your intellectual property, it absolutely does steal them and puts them into its learning base, and then it's there for the rest of the world, to see.
Well, then in that sense, yes. But as an AI, it doesn't use it to outsmart you, but it might share it to other people who might.
Yeah. It's not like you are in a meeting and suddenly your colleague or your boss is presenting your idea as their own, right? AI is not going to do that.
Not going to do that.
So,
but yeah, I think I can relate to what you just said about the how we are getting less and less connected with other human beings because there's so good and productive connection with the AI.
Yeah. And
Mhm.
the AI doesn't talk back. It doesn't say, no, I don't feel like doing that. Do we have to do that? Can we go grocery shopping later? You know, um,
And
it
Ruth says that her concern is that how do we know what's true anymore?
absolutely. The disinformation is, I mean, it was bad before AI. It's gotten 1,000 times worse or 1,000,000 times worse with AI.
And
And
also oh, AI is not it's not like a labeled source. It's not like we know like Fox News is different than
yes,
like they are kind of like we know the flavor or the label on the sources, but
yeah.
AI is kind of like neutral. And
It's
also there are lots of cultural things, and I'm from Europe and from Finland, and there's been discussion in here that lots of the things that AI suggests are very cultural, and they are very, very like American,
yes,
right, to American culture.
because
And
that's what it's been trained on.
mhm.
You know, is stuff that's
So
available
that-
on the
and
web and
it-
American literature, and yeah,
so it's more subtle than fake news
yeah,
we have used to in social media.
yeah, yeah. The other thing that brings in bias is the people who created the algorithm, right? So all the tech bros in California, um, that's a problem. So yeah, it's and how, I think about, now this is a couple of years old or a year and a half old, when the image creator AI, I forget which one it was now, but they told it needed to create more diverse images when with people, right? And they um, somebody asked it to create a image of the founding fathers of the U.S. So it created this diverse image of people who were not there. We know what that picture looks like. There were no, there was no diversity in that image. So
Mm.
um, yeah,
I'm interested in Lee's comment, like a perfect example of bias. What are you referring to, Lee?
I'm guessing she was responding to me saying about the tech bros in
Yeah,
California.
yeah,
So
me too.
um,
I was just checking.
yeah,
Yeah.
sorry. And Ruth said about critical
Mm,
thinking.
yeah.
Yeah, this is because it does create all this misinformation, and
Mm,
um, we have become fact checkers. So, like, this is, how did we get demoted in this? We've become fact checkers for a computer because it can't fact check itself. Um, so, although it's interesting because I do use Claude sometimes, and 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 it will give me, talk about something, and I'll say, well, where does that number come from? I can't find that when I Google that. Where did you pull that from? And it'll come back and go, oh, you're right. That doesn't come from anywhere. Here, I made that up. Here are some figures, facts and figures that have a source, and then it gives me the source, and I can go and check the source and go, yep, that's right. That's what it's saying. So it can fact check. It just doesn't. So at least not at first prompt. Let me put up Lee's thing here.
Oh, I think that's interesting. The human ability to deep dive.
Yeah.
Actually, the other day I was thinking of exactly that when I was using, I was using AI to write a proposal for a business proposal, and I was thinking that, okay, it's good with this simple, one-off training, but if it would be a year-long training process with complicated goals, writing it manually, like, really forces me to actually to deep dive to the content and deep dive to the goals and all the relations between all the different data. But if I use AI, it kind of like, even though I would fact check it and it would be perfect and kind of like aligned with my thinking and with my values and goals and the clients, to me, it would be kind of like, in my mind, it's only like superficially
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
It's not deep inside me, the
Yeah.
knowledge.
Yeah, because you haven't gone through that deep dive, that thinking process that's created it and thought about the order that it should go in and the
So it's kind of like, I'm afraid of that it makes us too lazy to use our brain.
yeah. 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 I remember somebody I talked to before I started to use AI. And that's what she said. She felt like it was making her and her team stupid because they were using this tool. And reading something going, yeah, that's right. And checking the facts isn't the same as actually creating it yourself and those thought processes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's kind of, the more the AI is, advancing, the more great it gets, the more dangers we face in that sense.
Yeah. Because I don't like this word, but we get lazy, we get complacent, maybe is a better word. I like Lee's comment about a good assistant versus a replacement for human input.
Yeah, exactly. That is good. But even if it's an assistant, it can be such a perfect assistant that you are skipping steps, as Dawn says.
Yeah.
You don't have to take every single step because your great assistant helps you to skip them.
Yeah. Well, and this isn't related to AI so much, but I was reading something yesterday or on the weekend recently about the difference between typing your notes or typing something versus writing it out longhand, and the impact it has on your brain, and the areas of the brain that are used or not used, and there are fewer parts of your brain that are used when you type something, because each keystroke is the same, right? It's up or down, right? Changes fingers if that's how you know how to type. But with writing, different parts of the brain light up on the MRI depending on what letter you're writing, whether it's a capital letter or a small letter, or it's an A, or it's an M, or it's a Z, or whatever. It uses different parts of your brain. So I was making the argument for handwriting's better for our brains and for remembering things then too, because it goes into our memory, whereas the typing just doesn't go into your memory the same way. So, and it's a similar kind of effect with AI. Sorry, go ahead.
And also, I'm now taking a leap that if, Ruth says our own deep dives are what makes us unique. I would say in past tense, because it's like AI is now it doesn't want it. Its goal is not to compete with us, but it from our point of view, it is doing that. It's kind of like, if you think of if you think of learning, like trainings, courses, learning, it would be silly to go on a course or a training to learn some content now, because the content is there already with AI. I mean, the AI could, produce that in 30 seconds, what you need like 3 weeks to go in trainings. So we need to reinvent the training, so it's not about content, cognitive content, but it should be about something else, like capacities or meta skills, or our human agency, our emotional intelligence, and whatever, but not maybe the cognitive stuff anymore.
Well, I think there's still a need for that, because you don't want to go looking up everything all the time, right?
Kind of like take the frontal lobe and hand it over to.
That's exhausting to have to look everything up all the time. But yeah, I agree. I think there needs to be more emphasis on those, I'm going to say, soft skills, on those communication skills, those collaboration, that sharing, that learning how the critical thinking that we were talking about a few minutes ago, that those curiosity and asking questions and problem solving skills, so because we can, as long as the repository is good, and we're delving into knowledge management here, but as long as the inputs are good, the repositories are good that the AI is pulling from, then there's a little bit less issue about the correctness of things.
Yeah, I like, Ruth, what you're saying, that you meant the connections we make during our deep dives, which is kind of like the simplest thing of what we are doing here. We are having a conversation.
Yeah. And say something and I react to it, and we kind of meander all over the place.
I know you could have this kind of conversation with AI.
It's not the same, though, when you have a conversation with AI, because AI tends to just be a very, very positive reinforcement, a positive echo chamber.
If you don't ask it to be critical.
Yeah.
You can also ask that. Oh, I love LinkedIn users, like, knowledge management is the way. What do you think of that, Stephanie? How do you feel about that?
I might be a little biased in my answer. I obviously think knowledge management is important. I also think radical knowledge management is important, especially for the times that we live in, because it does. I know this is a bit of self-promotion, but it does encourage critical thinking and relationship over the transaction. So, as does the work that you do. I know you're not a knowledge management person, but certainly the work that you do encourages relationship and critical thinking over transactions.
Yeah. I think what AI cannot do is it cannot resonate with like us humans do. When we have connection, we are actually harmonizing our brain waves and doing stuff like that, which is kind of sounds new age-ish, but it's measurable, and there's been research over it. So we are synchronizing in a very embodied way.
Yeah.
Even now, virtually, because we are hearing the sound waves and we are receiving light waves.
Yeah.
And we are adjusting.
Yeah.
With those.
Yeah.
I think my biggest fear is that we are neglecting the human connections, that we are, because that's been happening all the, even before AI, the trend has been for several years to be more individually oriented and more competitive as individuals,
Yeah.
which means we are not helping each others and we are not supporting each others or building synergetic idea constructions together, but we are trying to have that idea ourselves and win with that.
Yeah. 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 I think our organizations have, in a lot of cases, created this competition among people so that they hoard knowledge and don't
Don't
collaborate, don't ask each other questions, try and find it. This independence is, I'll find it out on my own rather than asking, or yeah, it comes back to the whole.
Isn't AI in that sense adding transparency?
Well, the algorithms are a bit of a black box, so I'm going to say no.
Okay.
But I think, back to, I think the soft skills, what we were talking about a minute ago, I think we're taught all these topics, math, calculus, English, although lots of people I know drop that as soon as they can in high school, at least when I was going through high school, which was a long time ago. But they, science, biology, physics, we're taught all these topics and not taught how to have a real conversation with someone, how to really communicate with people, how to have a relationship, how to, the give and take, how to have difficult conversations. I think that's what I see some people turning to AI for, is those difficult conversations. Or it's because they don't know how to have them. And so AI, you don't have to have those difficult conversations with AI, right? If you're in a relationship and your partner is doing something that you find objectionable, those are hard conversations to have. And sometimes relationships don't survive those conversations.
And at the same time, you can rehearse those conversations with AI. If you give your AI kind of the basic facts that they did that and that was hurtful and blah blah blah, and now we have to discuss this. How should I do that? Or could you be that person and let's rehearse different outcomes?
Yeah, role play it kind of with the AI. Yeah, I don't know.
But that's possible. But we are coming back to the thing that what's our relations? What's our relationship with AI, and what's our relationship with other human beings?
Yeah.
Transactional or
well, and the Lee's point about the sense of community, this is one of the things that came up in this meeting I was in yesterday, was the importance of networking and community and connection over AI. Yeah, I love and this is something back to the days of debating. Yeah, nobody has a debate anymore. They state their opinion, whatever that is, and that's it. They're not moving. There's no.
That's what Lee writes. Not over talking each other, but having a true debate.
Yeah,
it's like just like repeating and repeating their own.
Those are two of the things that I wish that I had done in high school. Now, my high school, I don't think had a debate club, but we did have a drama club, and I wish that I had the courage in high school to be that, because when I took improv 25 years ago, a long time ago, and really got a lot out of it, as far as public speaking went and confidence. And I thought at the time, and even more so now, is if I had those skills sooner, and still I'm not good at debating, and I wish that I had that opportunity to learn how to properly debate someone when I was younger, although certainly there's nothing stopping me from doing it now.
Yeah. I'm inspired by your personal touch on this.
Yeah.
And also you mentioned improvisation. I just realized, because it's like, as a kind of a side thing now, I'm directing a theater play for the summer theater.
Mhm.
And I noticed that, because it's like being a director of a play, you have like 12 actors and you have the script, and it's leadership, actually.
Yep.
You're
Absolutely.
leading a process.
Yep.
I noticed that my 30 years experience with impro has has deeply affected my leadership
Yes.
skills.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of like in awe of having such a clear, like, this process, it takes like 2 months and then it's over, and I lead the process. So I've noticed that I'm just observing. I'm noticing what people are doing. I'm noticing what they are offering, the actors.
Yeah.
And when I see something I like, I ask for more.
Right.
So I'm not having the director's, vision of what this role should look like, or do or sound like, or the whole play.
Right.
But I'm just letting them start the process, and then I'm picking the good stuff and saying that, could I have that more? And it's working so well. And I was just thinking that how many, leaders in work organizations are actually leading in that way,
Yeah. Yeah.
because that seems to be very empowering for the actors. I
Yeah.
have like diverse, like young people and elderly people acting there. And for example, there's this one inexperienced guy who was very insecure in the beginning, but with this kind of work working style or leadership, he's empowered. In a couple of weeks, he's kind of like
Oh.
like really, really blooming, I would
Yeah.
say.
Oh, nice. That must be nice to watch that happen.
Yeah.
Confidence building.
So those are, for example, those things I've learned from impro are actually it's not knowledge, it's not cognitive stuff, but it's meta skills.
Yeah.
Is kind of how do you react?
Yeah.
How do you lead? How do you add on to what's already happening, to what's already there?
Yeah. Well, like Ruth says, dealing with the unexpected. So,
Yeah.
can AI do that for us? I don't know. I don't think so, because AI is built on what's happened before. So if it's not happened, and this is the argument I have for why what it does isn't actually creative or creativity. It's only based on what it's seen before. So if it's not seen something before, then it's not going to create it. It's not going to put it out there. It has to have been related to a pattern that it's seen before.
I think
Right.
AI could be creative in a way that you are having a problem, and then you are feeding AI like a surprising content that could you compare this problem with this content, or could you try to solve that problem with this and this and this that are not conventional solutions already to that kind of a problem. In that sense, AI could be creative if you ask it to do it in a non-conventional way.
Yeah, but it still needs, the algorithms are still based on patterns that it's seen before.
It is.
So I'm not sure that even if you ask it to be unconventional, it's still going to be unconventional in ways that it's seen before.
True.
It may not be, rather than, think about a normal curve, rather than being in the center part of the normal curve, it might be out in a tail, but it's going to be something that's happened before. Whereas problem solving and really dealing with the unexpected, at least in some cases, it's stuff that's not happened before, right? Maybe we're mixing up predictive using AI versus human creativity. Yeah. I think human creativity is what comes out of what's not been seen before.
And also, what's kind of underused, if you think of creativity, is collective creativity, team creativity.
Yeah.
When we talk about creativity, usually we talk about individual creativity, that what's inside of one person's head, and how creative ideas I'm throwing to the game. But if you think of like team creativity or kind of collective creativity, that's kind of like connecting dots with different kinds of thoughts or kind of nodes.
There's I think about brainstorming sessions that I've run. There is you build on what somebody else has said, what they say has twigged something for you. And then I also think about something that we often think about as individual creativity, like creating a painting, because I paint. So I think about painting, but oftentimes I get ideas from other artists, either just from things that I've heard or videos that I might watch, but also from discussions that I might have with other artist friends, who, we might have a conversation about how to show texture or colors, or something that where there's a balance missing in a painting. I think of a friend that I used to quite often, before I moved to Berlin. I would send her pictures of my work in progress, and we would have a conversation about, there's something missing over here, or have you thought about this? And it was very much a dialogue about things. And sometimes she had some good ideas that I liked and incorporated into the painting, and sometimes I didn't like what her idea was, and that's okay too. It might have twigged something else for me. So there's that process in our brain.
I agree with you, Kari, that brainstorming or storming brain is listening.
Yeah.
Noticing what's happening, noticing what's there, and connecting the dots might be the second step on that.
That bringing everything together is the second step.
And I think that's like my hope is that we would learn, if AI is taking kind of lightening our burden of having the knowledge, like storing the knowledge here, that the space that's kind of opening could be filled with more communication, more interaction, more listening, more noticing more things about us, ourselves, and each other's. And my fear is that that's not going to happen.
No, because we just people turn to AI, because AI is always listening.
Yeah.
And it listens to us, and it confirms what we want it to confirm. So that's definitely going away. So, and I'm just looking at the time, and I know you have another commitment. And it's been about 40 minutes anyway, so we should wrap this up. But first, I want to thank everybody for participating in the chat. I have really enjoyed our conversation today. So let me see if I get my hands right.
Yes, you did.
For your participation. Simo and I both have other commitments next week, so we're going to skip next week. But we'll be back in 2 weeks. We're also going to shift this a half an hour earlier. just because, as Simo mentioned, he's directing a play, and so he needs to get off to go off to direct, and so we're going to shift this a half an hour earlier. So it'll be 8:30 a.m. on the East Coast of North America, and it'll be
3:30. What's the time?
Eastern European summertime.
Yeah, thank you.
E3 time.
So,
home.
so thank you, everyone, and we'll see you in a couple of weeks. Take care.
Take care.